Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
Playoffs and Phil.
What's up, guys? Dutchy clocking in here. As always, God bless. Go Birds.
Let the celebration begin.
You are now listening to the 302 Birds Eagles postgame show with Jack and Dalton. Proudly powered by TickPick, the official fan experience partner of the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, let's take it to the show.
It was the biggest game of the year, the biggest test of the year so far, the most legit team that the Philadelphia Eagles played. Some people are saying that the Eagles played a good game. Others are saying that the Eagles played a good half. I'm saying that the Eagles had a good last three drives. You guys let us know exactly how you're feeling immediately after the game. Jack and I want to hear it. We want to talk about it with you. But my name is Dalton. This is Jack. We're from 302 Birds from the Philadelphia Eagles post-game show, breaking down the Eagles' sixth in a row victory now, right, Jack?
Yeah, 6-0 since the bye, so that's huge. Big W for the Eagles. I mean, I wouldn't say it was ugly football. We had a rough first quarter, taking in halftime 7-3. But, the defense really showed up. I mean, they kind of were the driving force behind this team, which was huge. So it was a little sloppy, but I wouldn't say it's an ugly win. I mean, they were a good team, 7-2, and we beat them. So I think you'll see a decline of these Commanders the next few weeks because we took it to them against the Saints, and we beat the Saints, and then they went on a decline. So I think we really exposed Jaden Daniels for who he actually is. He's a rookie. He didn't play great. And when he had somebody coming down on him and showing up, playing a good defense, it goes to show, that he wasn't ready for this game at all. I mean, great win.
Their game plan looked great. They knew how to get after him. I mean, every time that the Eagles, I'll give their defense credit too, especially in that first half. They really game planned well. They really knew how to get the Eagles offense off the field, which was key for the Commandos. But every time that the Eagles offense came off the field, it felt like the Commanders offense was coming off the field just as quick. That first half was very slow. Not the most entertaining football, but like Jack said, I mean, the Commanders are a good team. Give respect due where it's due. And they're not a bad franchise, especially in the NFL. Any win is a win in the NFL. Defense stands tall. They look solid. Diving into our first topic of the night. I mean, Nakobe Dean has been game after game, and it feels like to me, he is slowly, unofficially becoming the team captain of that defense or like the face of that defense. It's been so long since the Eagles have had a player that they can trust at linebacker. Obviously, Bond is playing super well, but Dean has been that star that we have been craving. We've been waiting for, a guy that we've drafted.
Yeah, I mean, he is the captain because he has the green dot on his helmet. But I mean, Nakobe Dean, he played an all right game tonight. I wouldn't say it was his best game compared to the past few games we've had with him. But yeah, I mean, that defense, under him and Vic Fangio, I think we're seeing what we've been waiting to see out of Dean for the past 2.5, 3 years. You got to give flowers to Zach Bond. Zach Bond, struggled when he was at the Saints and comes to Philadelphia and is playing great ball. He had that big stop on that 4th and 4 or whatever. And he just, the deflection he had was huge. I mean, this guy is actually playing his position that he was meant to be doing, because when he was at Oklahoma, when he was at the Saints, he wasn't playing in his right position. So seeing him play well is huge for us, and it's that middle linebacker position has been a position for us that we have had some issues with in the past, and I think this tandem at middle linebacker is huge for us. And it's great to see this defense, working on all cylinders.
Yeah, they are firing on all cylinders. Like I said, I mean, every time that the Eagles offense came off the field, it was the same thing. It felt like a well-oiled machine. Um, we'll get back into the defense here in a second, but let's talk about Jalen Hurts. So 88 passer rating tonight, not one of his better games. Second half, though, definitely turned it on. What do you want to see out of Jalen Hurts? I think for me personally, it was getting the ball out quicker in at least the first half, and that wasn't happening.
Yeah, I mean that's been an issue for him. When we went to the Super Bowl against the Chiefs, he would get the ball out really quick. And tonight he held on the ball way too long. He looked for his first connection, and if they weren't open, he would run it. Again, he had no turnovers tonight, which is huge. And it just he is a great quarterback. I mean, he struggles here and there, but all in all, he's a good quarterback. And I think he's the right leader to have on this team, because I'm sure he said some shit to the team at halftime, like we need to work, we needed to fix what we're playing. And the first half was ass. So him kind of stepping up and showing up, when we needed the most is huge for us. I mean, again, he wasn't making great decisions throwing the ball today. But I mean, that's stuff we need to work on with him. And again, we probably should have had, I think we had a total of 400 plus yards on offense between running and throwing the ball. But we need a lot better decision making coming out of Jalen Hurts moving forward, because granted, we have the Steelers still, and we have the Ravens. And I think the Ravens and Steelers are a lot better than the Commanders, and we need to kind of nip that in the butt and kind of work on that stuff. So we have a long week to work on it, practice, rest up, and see what we can do against. Do we play the
Rams?
I think.
Is it the Rams next week that we play? No. Yeah, so I think it's Sunday, November 24th. We don't play technically. Yeah, yup. Sunday, November 24th, 8:20. Sunday night football next week. We go up against the Rams. Broad Street Sports. If you want to call in here, man, shoot me a message. We'll get you the link on Instagram. I'd love to hear your voice on here talking some smack. But yeah, it's going to be a good game going up against the Rams. I think if anybody's going out with Philly sports trips, that's going to be the trip that Shady will be at, which most likely means you'll get Deshaun Jackson in that package deal. So that's pretty cool. But Jalen, I think in Philadelphia, and I'm guilty of this too, especially with the quarterback position, we and I thought about it the other day, we expect a perfect QB pretty much all the time. Perfect meaning I want like 115 plus passer rating game. Like even Jalen's last game, which I think was 115 passer rating, there were moments where we were like, what are you doing, dude? Like what is this? So I feel like in Philadelphia, we all expect so much and such a perfection out of a QB that it's almost not okay for a quarterback to like have an average day, like an 88, like passer rating. We forget what it's like to have an average quarterback just because we were spoiled so much with that 2022 season. Look, guys, he did what he needed to do the second half. I wasn't the happiest about it, but I'd rather have a QB play very, very well in the second half than in the first half. So whatever they're doing at halftime in these games, they're almost on the same path as the Chiefs, because yes, they didn't win this game by 8 points, but that was a stat I saw about the Chiefs, that all these games they're winning are close games. And that game was a close game until the end there, where they just pretty much had garbage time points, which, hey, I'll take it. Awesome. Pile it on. But we all know that wasn't the story of the game, the score. It was a lot harder fought throughout the whole game. So, I mean, it technically still was one score, But for me, Jalen Hurts, I think Spike Eskin said it too on 94 WIP that it's nice that you can kind of see he knows when he makes a mistake. You can see it in his eyes, and there's that care there where he's like, "Ooh, I probably shouldn't do that again," which is good. You want that in a QB. You don't want him to be scared, but he does have an awareness, I think, for when he makes mistakes to where he'll correct it.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it, I've preached on it time in and time again since we started this podcast. Like, you got to play 4 quarters of football. And you know, we haven't really done that this year. Again, we didn't score any points in the first quarter yet again. In the past 2 weeks, we scored in the first quarter. But yeah, you got to play with the same, like they said, going into halftime, the Commanders looked like they came out with more heart and more passion in this game because we saw it. Granted, it was only 7-3, but they looked like they wanted it and they cared more about the football game. But hey, that's why there's 4 quarters in football. You got to come out with a better game plan. And I mean, we should have been dicing and slicing and dicing the whole Commanders defense tonight, and we weren't, because I was talking to Josh. The Commanders had the middle of the field open the whole night, and we should have ran slants in the middle of the field with AJ Brown that had that one completion for a first down, wide open in the middle of the field. And Jalen Hurts has to realize that and kind of pick them apart. I didn't really see Jalen Hurts really picking apart the defense that he should have, because I know he can. He has done it in the past, but he has to be more aware of that and see where the weaknesses are on the defense. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. So 6 in a row. And why don't we take a second to do a little detour with the guy on this graphic. I'll say this. I wasn't the biggest Reed Blankenship guy. I'm definitely the biggest Reed Blankenship guy now. I mean, he just continuously has a nose for the football, and he finds a way to get turnovers. You got to love it.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it since he's been on this freaking team, since his rookie season. He is a great player. He makes the big plays happen when we need them. He had a pick tonight. He had a few stops. And we got to realize that. He is a great player, and what he does, we're not really used to that in the past. And it's great to see him. I love to give him his flowers because him and Cooper DeJean, they really bond together, and they know. I think Cooper DeJean's definitely learning more from Reed Blankenship. But yeah, I mean, Reed is stepped up when he needed it the most, and I love his little dance he does when he picks it off. But yeah, this kid is a great player, and I hope more people realize that, because I've noticed it. I know a lot more people on the show have taken realization into, wow, Reed Blankenship is actually a great player. So, I mean, he's almost maybe even better than Harrison Smith for the Vikings. So we have a really good defense, and I think he fits perfectly in this defense scheme.
Yeah, he's made such an impact since he's been here. He's fun to watch, like Jack said. His coordinated dance moves, choreographed dances, as Ashley was saying last night on the podcast. That was one of my favorites. But this team is having fun, and it feels like when they're having fun, that's when they're playing their best football. And Reed Blankenship is a huge, huge part of that fun. He's a locker room guy too. You see him in those videos that the Eagles social media team does, and he's having a great time. He loves to answer the questions. He loves to play the games. He's just a fun guy to be around. But more importantly, he's a good football player too. He has a nose for the football. He has that ball hawk tendency, like Jack said, and almost like a young Harrison Smith. I like that comparison. I think with somebody like Vic Fangio leading him, he really has that chance to go to the next level with his career. I always thought that Reed Blankenship had a ceiling, personally. I think some other Eagles fans did too. And it's nothing against Reed. Reed's a great player. But where we got Reed, the way that Reed came in, I think Reed was undrafted too. I might be
Yeah,
wrong on that.
undrafted. No, he was undrafted.
Yeah,
Undrafted.
undrafted. So we never really had this pro ball safety in mind. But with the way that he's playing this year, if he gets a couple more turnovers, mark my words, Blankenship may be in the freaking Pro Bowl, which would be insane. That would be insane. I don't think anybody would have called that in the beginning of the year. But back to the point, Vic Fangio, I think, kind of leading him, showing him his ways. Vic Fangio has been in this league forever. He was in Jesus's 4th grade class, guys. Okay, so he's old as fuck, but that's a good thing because he's seen a lot of shit. I thought at the beginning of the year, my naive dumbass was like, I don't know about Vic. I don't know. And it's worked out. He's found his players has found their identity, the combination of the two. It's butter. It's butter, Jordan. It's butter. That's all I got to say about Vic.
Yeah, I've said it since preseason. Like, Vic Fangio is a great defensive coordinator. He just needs time to work with the players. And I mean, the defense, he was playing that prevent defense, beginning the season. And then I really think having that bye week 5 really kind of bonded the team. And I mean, your defense is only as good as how your defense coordinator calls the game. And I think he's making Quinyon Mitchell a much better player. He's making Cooper DeJean a much better player. He's making Reed Blankenship a much better player. So this defense, especially tonight, they definitely helped us out. And we got to give our flowers to the defense, because without them, this could have been a different game. I mean, they held them, to 7 points in the first half. And it's just, this is what we've been waiting for. And like Dalton said, it looks like this defense, even this whole team, is having fun out there on the field. And that's what you need to have that kind of relationship with coaches and players. You can really see that, I think, on the field. So, Jalen Carter played great game tonight. Jordan Davis had an all right game tonight. Our linebackers played well. Cooper DeJean had a PI call that was bullshit. He played well tonight. Everyone tonight played really good ball, and that's why we chose Vic Fangio as a defense coordinator, because he will make these players great again. So thank you, Vic Fangio. Thank you, defense. We got to really owe this, win to you tonight, because without you, like I said, it would have been a much different game, and we would probably be, crying tonight right now, and not even having post game. So that is what we've been waiting on, and I think our defense is great in games that matter the most, and we definitely saw that tonight.
Yes, and the one thing I want to say real quick before we get to our call-ins, one thing as well, guys, like looking at that score, we forget that there should have been 6 more points added on to that. So you got to keep that in mind with the offense. Really, 7, because he gave up an extra point.
Yeah,
too.
7.
I don't know what was going on with Jake Elliott, man. I mean, we're not used to that with Jake. If you guys want to let us know in the comments how you're feeling about it. I had some people like Chaos Chris sitting next to me in the stadium. I wonder if this is his last game as an Eagle. That's what Chris said. I'm like, Chris, maybe not. But Chris had me seriously thinking, I wonder if it could be maybe towards the end of his career. I don't know if it would be his last season, depending on how bad it goes. If he has more games like that, it will be. But I think Jake Elliott's just kind of in a funk. I think the whole team kind of throughout the first half, my take on it too was weather. It was kind of the first like brick titty game, for lack of a better term. It was cold. We were feeling it out on the tailgate. Players are completely sober, so they had to be colder than us. And I just think that as a player, as a kicker especially, that ball gets harder to kick as it gets colder. And I think just the whole team, this was like kind of an adjustment game in the weather that first half. They got away. They got lucky. But we will see more with it soon. But that was the one thing I just wanted to highlight, is that there should have been a whole other 7 points tacked onto the score at the end that the Eagles should have had. unthanks to Jake Elliott, which normally I don't want to say anything bad about Jake Elliott because I love Jake, just like any Eagles fan. But he's got to get it together because can't be having that later. But want to jump into our call-ins here. Tonight on the show, we got Philly Shardy from the Phillies post-game show. How are you feeling tonight after the W?
I just want to let Guantanamo Bay know they got a new inmate coming in tonight. His name is Terry McLaurin. Your wide receiver one reception for 10 yards. Didn't do shit against Quinyon Mitchell. So you're getting locked up in Guantanamo Bay, buddy. Because literally all I heard all week from Commanders fans was, oh, he's going to torch you, and oh, he's going to do this and that, and he just didn't do jack shit. Overall, decent win, I guess. I mean, I was not impressed at all the first half. It really scared me in a sense because it looked like Nick Sirianni was playing, was calling the plays. I'd lost my train of thought there, but looked like he was calling the plays there in the first half. Just stupid play calling. A lot of wide receivers, Smitty and AJ were open, and Hurts just looked like a lost puppy. Couldn't see the field well. And just like stupid screens, like Brian Johnson stuff. Just stupid. A lot of 3 and outs too. And I'm really surprised we held the Commanders to 7 in the first half because they easily could have ran away with that game. And you guys already touched on it, but Jake Elliott could have cost us that game. Defense kept us in. Offense, second half, they adjusted. And to kind of close this out, I think that's especially from the last 2 years, I think that is the best adjustment we have compared to the last 2 years with our coaches, is that it seems like the coaches this year compared to the Super Bowl run and even last year at halftime are adjusting. Because that's the reason we lost the Super Bowl, was that Gannon couldn't adjust at halftime. So props to Vic Fangio. Props to you for adjusting. Defense was lights out. Offense came back second half, lights out as well. So,
yeah, I mean, I'm looking at this stat right now. The Commanders are actually leading in first half points as of right now.
Wow.
And they're averaging, they're not leading, they're in second place, right behind the Detroit Lions. They are averaging 16.2 points per half, or in the first half. So us holding them to 7 points this game tonight is huge. So like I said, the defense really stepped up, and it's very impressive. They have a very impressive game tonight.
The one thing I'll say too is back to that weather point. I do think we got lucky on some of the drops too that some of the Commanders players were having. Like, I think the Commanders are the Eagles and the Commanders, because guys, this isn't the last time that we're gonna see this Commanders team, and they're gonna want it really bad the next time that they come back and see us. But my point is, you saw a couple drops that were pretty bad on the Commanders side too. So they're going to go back to the drawing board and fix that. But if I was Jaden Daniels, I'd be pretty upset at some of them because, I mean, this game, the Eagles and the Commanders are now the heavyweights of the NFC East. And who would have thought that the day that the Cowboys would be the laughingstock would come? But it's here. It's here. And I'm here for it too. I am here for it. I'm all about it. But they're just the Commanders are definitely the more competitive team. What were you saying, Chard? Sorry.
Didn't Jaden? You were at the game, so you might have saw it. But didn't he play with an injured hand? Because it said on the they showed on the broadcast. I guess he had like a cut or something, and they were gluing it up.
Oh, I didn't even see that. So where we were at, we were candidly in the nosebleeds. We were up there. But yeah, I didn't even see that. It did seem like he and Jalen Hurts, I felt like we're both playing. And I don't know anything about Jalen Hurts and Jake Elliott, because the one thing we saw at the game too was Jake wasn't really warming up for kickoffs. And at one point, before the game.
No, Man's been doing it. And Man's been doing the kickoff for the past 3,
Yes.
4 weeks. Yeah.
But they had at one point Man doing like field goal warm-ups, which was like
Oh.
kind of like, yeah, like he was like kicking field goals. And this was before the game, which kind of made me and Chris wonder. I was like, okay, like, is there something going on with Elliott that like he was doing mostly kickoffs, but there were a couple field goal attempts snuck in there that I saw, and I was like, why is Elliott not out here? Now, Elliott might have been out there before. We got there at we got there like 38 minutes before kickoff, actually. So I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, hey, it's a great win, but where we gotta keep an eye open. Jaden Daniels was playing injured since the Panthers game, so maybe that was a factor because we didn't really see him running out of the pocket much today or the past 2 weeks. So, when they play us, I think it's December, right? Um, it may be a different Jaden Daniels. So we just got to keep an eye out for that because, the what, four, first 5 weeks, Jaden Daniels has played healthy. So these last 3 weeks, he's been playing injured. So we got to make sure that if he is healthier when he plays us in December, that we can watch out for the escaping the pocket.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, even I'm looking at the Terry McLaurin post game interview about Quinyon Mitchell, because Mitchell was matched up with McLaurin for 20 of his 25 routes. And when Quinyon was matched up with Terry, Terry wasn't targeted at all on those plays. Terry gave props to Quinyon and said he's a good corner. He doesn't really play like a rookie. He plays like a pro, and he locked me up. I'll leave it at that. And that's what he said.
Hey, that's nice to see out of some NFC East rivals too. Thank you for bringing that up, Shardy, because it's normally like you get two of them talking shit to each other. You know what I mean? Like you get like, okay, I don't mind that. Back to the Malcolm Jenkins and Des Bryant, talking before the game. But it is sometimes nice when you can see two NFC East rivals kind of, pat one on the other on the back and say, tip the cap and say, hey, you know what? You beat me. It is what it is. I'm going to try to beat you next time, because that is what it's going to be. The next time around, he is going to say, okay, you know what? I've seen Guantanamo Bay. Let me try to figure out how to get out of here. And like Shard said, I mean, Scary Terry is one of the best. He's having a great season right now. I mean, Jaden Daniels is part of it. He's really revitalized his career. But Scary Terry for so long was a relevant wide receiver with basically the fucking Bad News Bears cast as his quarterbacks. So you got to give some respect due where that's due. So we'll see. We'll see.
Right.
I will say, I think we have unlocked a new rivalry. I think the Cowboys have gone by the wayside. They're still going to be a rival, but I think the Commanders are our new rivals because things were getting chippy on the field today. And I love seeing it. I mean, there was a few fights, little skirmishes that happened on the field. And that's what it should be in a rivalry match. So we haven't seen that with the Commanders since Deshaun Jackson days when he was in Philly and Michael Vick. But yeah, I think this is a good thing for us, but also, holy shit, like, could the Commanders actually be good moving forward? Because I think, and I hate to admit it, I really do think that Jaden Daniels is going to be a franchise quarterback for the Commanders. I think they would be stupid enough not to make him a franchise quarterback. So we're going to see Jaden Daniels for years to come. So I think with him at the helm, we have unlocked a new rivalry in the NFC East.
Yeah. And maybe to respect to some of the Commanders fans, we'll say re-unlocked, because I think during the 90s, it existed when the Redskins Commanders that can't make up their names were more relevant. But I do see what you're saying. I think now it is David and Goliath, or I don't even want to say that, but the two big dogs of the NFC East are the Eagles and Commanders. And for so long, it was the Eagles and Cowboys. So it's kind of funny to see, like, like fucking Cowboys losers. Like you guys like fucking suck still, and we're still here. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
We're still here.
Like that picture of The Simpsons where it's like, say the line. It's our year.
I'm gonna have to, that's a
They
meme
all
we
start
have.
laughing at him.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to break that one out because somebody put like a Cowboys hat on Bart Simpson, saying it. So I'll have to find that one and break that one out just for you, Shard, because that is a good one. I love that.
Yeah, but I think, and I'm going to say this before I hop off because it's getting late, but I think we sweep the Giants. I think we sweep the Cowboys. I think next time we meet the Commanders, though, I think we are going to lose. So, great win tonight, 8-2. I think we would be 9-1 if Saquon didn't drop that ball in the Falcons game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think we would have been 9-1. I think though that if we didn't have Saquon, we'd probably be 2-7. But that's just me. I think Saquon makes a huge difference. But I'm gonna hop off. Great win. I'll see you guys later.
Thank you, man. We appreciate you. Make sure you guys give Shard a follow on Instagram at Philly Shardy. We appreciate him for helping us on here. But we're going to be hopping off here soon, too, because like Shard said, it is getting late, and I know a lot of people have work tomorrow, myself included. But the one thing I did want to highlight, too, before we hop off of here is, like Shard just said, I mean, Saquon, I like that take about the 2-7 because I've seen some people on Twitter or one of our comments. I can find it somewhere if I scroll deep. But there was a guy in the comments basically saying that the Eagles like are not qualified to be the team that they are, and Saquon Barkley is part of that. And I was like, no, he's crushed it. And he's like, bro, did you not see Saquon in the Falcons game? And I'm like, okay. Did you see Saquon in the Giants game, in the Saints game, in the game tonight? In, like I could name like 3 other games. You know what I mean? Like Packers game, like he carried. He won the game for us single-handedly. So it's like, okay, that one game, like versus the rest of work, like I don't care even if you want to look at it that way. And he carried the rest of the Falcon. He did great. So my main beef with that is just like, he's the leading rusher now in yards in the NFL and yards for scrimmage in the NFL. That's fucking nuts that a Philadelphia Eagle is leading the NFL in yards per scrimmage. That means we got an entertainer, my friends. So Eagles fans, enjoy it, bask in it while it's here because it won't be forever. Hopefully it'll be for 3 years, I'm hoping at least. Fingers crossed. But it won't be forever. That's how these things go. It's a business out there.
Yeah, we got in with this. I just remembered this. We scored 2 touchdowns in literally 30 seconds, which is insane. I mean, that's when the team steps up the most. We scored 2 touchdowns in 30 seconds because when we scored the first touchdown, it was like 4:58 left. And then when we scored the second touchdown, it was like 4:20 something. So that is insane. That is actually insane. And we got to thank Saquon Barkley for that. But yeah, great win. Little bumpy at first, but we got the job done. Eagles win 28-16 or 26-18, my fault. Zach Ertz came back and that was kind of cool seeing everyone cheer for him when he scored a touchdown.
He had a touchdown at the end. I was going to ask, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Scored a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. But yeah, great win. Eagles
I was in the car, guys. Sorry. I don't want people to think. I was at the game, so I don't want people to think. Yeah.
Eagles win 26-18. We are now number 1 in the NFC East. Let's go, Birds. Without further ado, if Dalton, you have anything else? I don't think so.
The one thing I wanted to say is I just want to thank TickPick, as always, for sponsoring this show. They were part of the reason why we got to go to the game tonight. So I want to highlight and thank TickPick and thank them for what they do. If you guys haven't, check out the TickPick app today. No fee tickets. Take us out of here, Jackson.
Yeah, without further ado, I'm not going to scream because I'm pretty much lost my voice. Hey, Josh, it's an outro, not an intro. Hit that motherfucking outro.
This is for you.
Hey, what's up, 302 Birds? I'm Jack. All roads lead through the playoffs and Philly.